Daisy, so good to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited to meet
Yeah,
you.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I mean, we have a lot of cool things to talk about. We're talking about the Faceless Lady, and this is such a cool project. You know, I'm a big horror movie fan. Eli Roth. I mean, the VR component. So much going on, right? Like, I just see like the
Yeah.
blast for it and like the news, and it's just like sign me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to kind of know about like the audition process and how you got involved with this specifically before we kind of really dive into it.
Yeah, of course. I got sent my by my agent
Yeah.
the audition for this and said it was a VR thing. It was the first ever VR 3D horror. And I was like, that sounds incredible. So I taped for it and then I had a call back via Zoom with John, the director,
Mhm.
and then I had a chemistry read where I kind of went against the different Tawnies and met May. And then I got the job.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you knew it was VR because I'm wondering if they don't even tell you if it's VR or not because that's a big part of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, they told us it was VR at the beginning. Yeah, because I that was actually one of the things that really I wanted to be involved in. So I think it's such a cool way of it's a new way of watching things, right? So I really wanted to be a part of that, and that kind of drew me into the project a lot more, actually.
Absolutely. I did start this interview off saying I'm a big horror movie fan. And it's so interesting,
Mhm.
Daisy, because it's a genre that's been around for a long time. But there
Mhm.
has been this like surge in popularity. And like anytime
Mhm.
October comes around, it's like spooky season is like a big deal for everyone, right? They
Mhm.
watch a lot. So I'm just curious what it's like, working on the Faceless Lady at a time where there really is a big like appetite or interest in horror movies and that content. Like I'm just curious about that for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's of course very exciting. I'm also a big horror fan. So yeah, it was really cool to be part of a project and kind of see the behind the scenes of how these things work, like the logistics of how the special effects happen, especially in this new format with the new cameras and
Yeah.
all of that. So we're all learning on the set, which is really fun. But yeah, I was so happy to be part of a horror because I've always wanted to be, and it's my first horror, so that was fun.
Absolutely. A really cool kind of project with Meta available. Also, people can check it out. Obviously, they can watch it VR, which that's
Mhm.
how I recommend it. But they can also watch it on Crypt TV's Facebook page as well. Um, Main kind of general question of this interview is like, what can we expect from the Faceless Lady without giving too much away? You have to have that one kind
I
of
know,
plug
I'm like,
question.
what can I say? You can expect a competition
Mhm.
between three couples. It's all head to head. There's going to be things you dislike and like about the characters. And I guess it's kind of one of those projects where you can kind of question what's going to happen next and what's going to happen to who next and who can we trust. And I really like that part of this project. I love watching films like that because you keep guessing like what's going to happen. And I guess kind of trying to guess of what's going to happen at the end and who's going to be there and just how things progress
And
is
maybe the
yeah,
Faceless Lady actually does have a face. I mean, you gotta tune in
yeah,
to
and who
find.
the faceless lady is, yeah. I guess you find out, yeah, that's what you can expect, finding
Yeah,
out like
you gotta tune in. Absolutely. I'm really excited to hear that you are also a big horror movie fan. Um, Eli Roth. I mean,
Mhm.
wild,
It's
right?
very
I mean,
exciting, yeah. Yeah, I think it's really exciting to be part of a project that he's involved with, and everyone was so lovely to work with
yeah.
on set.
Did you have
Yeah,
a chance to watch his film Thanksgiving?
I actually haven't seen it, but I have a friend that's in it. So that she was telling me about the project, and she was like, it was really exciting, and yeah,
Yeah.
she I remember working with her on a project before, and she
Mhm.
was like, um, explaining to me what this project was, and I was like, that sounds really cool. And then I had an audition for this, and I was like,
Oh,
oh.
when you have a chance, you got to check it out because it's interesting because we're talking about I find it so interesting and this is like an Eli Roth thing, but like it's very immersive with the VR, the Faceless Lady, and everything. And Thanksgiving is also a very immersive movie, like the way it's
Yeah,
shot, like the point of views. So I definitely
yeah.
feel like it's an Eli Roth thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so weird because the director's constantly got the headset on, and but he had like a megaphone. He was like talking, like saying "cut." He had the headset on, and you could like watch playback in the headset, so we could see ourselves in front of our eyes in 3D. It was really, really, really cool, and just a totally different experience from anything that I had on set.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I said, we were all learning on the set. It's all new, so it was just really exciting and weird to see yourself just in front of your eyes in 3D. And just
it's so crazy. At the end of the day, it's all storytelling and acting. It's all kind of the one main goal of, you know, making something and then people checking it out and everything and bringing these characters to life. But I'm just curious if your mindset or preparation, depending on the genre, depending on the character, changes a little bit, right? Like you look at this, you look at How to Date Billy Walsh on Prime Video, like different genres, different characters, all the same goal at the end. But like, I'm just curious, does your mindset change a little bit or like preparation wise?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things that I keep the same in terms of, well, I think every process is different really because genres are so different. And obviously in a horror, you've got this heightened state of emotion. So you have to prepare yourself mentally. Your body physically feels it, even if it is a replicated emotion, you're still physically going through it. So I guess mindset wise, it's making sure outside of it, I had things I was reading separate or ways of keeping calm. And we were all like, we had such a good support system as a group. We were all really connected well. So that was really helpful. Yeah. But yeah, going into like other films that might be more of like a romance or comedy, there's different ways of prepping. And I mean, for that sort of thing, that other project, it was more about confidence and getting to that level of confidence for me, because I grew up really shy. So it was like, okay, how can I access this character? Whereas for the Faceless Lady, it was more preparing myself mentally and physically for these heightened states of emotions. And it was a challenge. It was fun. It was definitely something that we all kind of worked on together and helped get each other to those like levels of emotion. Yeah.
So many. The title of The Faceless Lady is such an intriguing title, isn't it? Like, there's so many questions. Like, why does she have a face? You know what I mean?
Yeah, where's that face? I guess you'll find out.
Absolutely, gotta tune in.
Find out pretty early. Yeah.
You can answer this with The Faceless Lady specifically, because I do feel like for horror movies, it's really cool because it's kind of like these 0 to 100 worlds, right? With like the jump scares and everything. But it's a cool thing to kind of read a script and then kind of like establish your understanding of these characters and then going and filming it and seeing it kind of come to life on the screen, so to speak. What's that like for you as an actor, kind of seeing that kind of, you know, transformation, so to speak? Because I thought that's like the coolest thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you read a script and by the time you're on set, the character, the way you've progressed with it, or even the way they've written it, it might have changed. Like there's so much progression. It could be a completely different character from the start, but it's like very interesting to read a script, especially working with May. It was really fun to be able to like workshop on like what we do at home together as a couple, what songs we'd listen to, what our interests are, stuff like that. And from a script to then doing the chemistry read with her, to then prepping with her, to then being on set, and then to now watching it, it's like this progression of like, it's so different from like right at the beginning. And I really love the prep, and I love seeing how these characters can change. And yeah, it's so fun to now see it visually in 3D with each other, you know?
Yeah.
And the other characters, all the other actors in this as well, they really brought like, what you read can be so different to what they bring on set, and that works so well. And they all were just such lovely people, and I'm so happy with how it's turned out for them as well.
Does the Faceless Lady really not have a face?
You have to find out.
I'm thinking about this because you keep saying it. No, I know it's like the best. Like you gotta find.
You find out pretty early in it. You have to watch it.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying for the audience. Daisy, last quick question before we wrap up. I did mention How to Date Billy Walsh on Prime Video. I just kind of want to know a little bit about that, you know, romantic comedy and everything. What was that like working on that film with Tanner, Sebastian? Like, what can you tell me about your experience on that film?
So that film was my first ever film.
Wow.
So so I went into that with this really confident character. I mean, she has a lot of insecurities behind the confidence.
Misunderstood. But, for sure.
Yeah, very misunderstood, and a lot to learn still.
So, sorry, did you ever see her as a villain then when you're reading the script, or did you always see her as like misunderstood?
I think when you're reading a script and you know you're playing a certain character, you have to kind of you have to get into the mindset of the character and figure out why they act that way to people. And yeah, what she does is wrong 100%. But I guess you have to kind of figure out why they do it, and going into the scene, like, mentally be okay with doing it, even though you don't personally agree with it. So yeah, that one, it was like a big first experience on set, working with some really talented people, and like I said, with the confidence thing, that was like the main thing that I had to make sure all nerves were thrown away and I could be on set and be that confident character. But yeah, so different, like, in terms of experience on set as well, because the emotion isn't as heightened in that, but there's other things that you kind of have to work on more for that one. But I really loved, like, for Amber in that one, the costumes and stuff really helped physically to be able to, like, get into the character. It was like I could switch on by putting the costume on, and I always have like a specific perfume, like I kind of pick a different perfume for different characters that also helped me embody the character. And yeah, they were just such different experiences on set, but both amazing. So yeah, I had so much fun.
And that's on Prime Video.
Yeah, and on the Faceless Lady, obviously the camera is different as well. So it's like figuring out how to work with that camera for the first time. It was a lot more theatrical and using the space differently, because you're far back and the cameras, you have to be heard by the camera that far back. So it's like making sure that you're speaking loud enough, but in the most natural way. So that was really interesting, working on the Faceless Lady.
Those worlds couldn't have been more different.
Different, yeah.
And you know, the people in How to Date Billy Walsh, they have faces, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they all have faces. So I don't think anyone died.
I'm not gonna let that one go. That's too good.
I mean, there's people that have died before it, but not during.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, the Faceless Lady episodes, you know, meta series, you know, VR, also available on Crypt TV's Facebook page as well. They could check that out. Daisy, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
So lovely to meet you. Yeah, so lovely to meet you, and thank you so much for the great questions.
Yeah, I really appreciate your time. Instagram is just your name if you want to keep up to date with everything, right?
Yeah, Daisy Jelley or Jelley. You can say whatever. Jelley.
Awesome.
Like Jelley.
Well, this has been Pop Turnitive. YouTube.com/PopTurn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Daisy and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnitive. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnitive on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.